My name's Anna, I'm the Westgate Parks officer here. A couple of years ago, Canterbury City Council got a Heritage Lottery project. It's called the Heritage Lottery Parks for Peoples project. One of the things that we really wanted was to have something that really was quite a wow factor. We decided that we'd like to commission a sculpture to go into Tannery Field by our wildflower meadow to make people really stop and stare and learn a little bit more about the history of the site. So we spoke to Steve to see whether this would be a possibility. And he said yes, of course, he'd give it a go and see what he can do. The idea behind the bull sculpture came about through the volunteer team in the Westgate Parks finding the Tannery Railway when we were installing the wildflower meadow in 2014. We were digging away and all of a sudden we found these two metal railway tracks. And the railway tracks brought all the slub, so all of the waste and byproducts from the tannery over to Tannery Field. So we wanted to put the sculpture in to see if we can make it of railway tracks to link into that.
Tannery was set up at a time when the basic diet had changed from meat and vegetables to dairy, and when it was meat and vegetables there was a thing called a beef shorthorn, which is pretty much what that is, what those two are, very similar. This is a fighting bull, this is a fighting bull, which is good for this because it's skinned. That's just to show me muscles. So that's more the shape of it, much heavier and more solid. Right, so what I'm going to do a bit of bending there. That's left up with little kinks in there, but I'll take that off with a lanisher. If you look at the weight structure of a bull, it's all balanced on the two legs, a bit like your monopod. That's sort of the centre of gravity of it. Well, the centre of gravity of a bull is because they've got this huge neck, big, and it's all muscles to do with banging each other and stuff. So that is the power, and the shoulders are the centre of gravity of it. So you could probably lift the back legs off the ground. I mean, you can't because it would fall over, but the main weight of the bull is all around the shoulders. So you've got the neck on one side of the shoulders and the belly on the other side of the shoulders. So the power of a bull is in the shoulders. Then the back, the arse, the thighs, that's less of the power of it. It's more to do with running. So the main focus of the bull is the shoulders, which support the muscle structure, and the belly on either side of it. The muscle structure is not in the belly. So the belly is the fattest bit. It's this lovely big barrel shaped. It's so satisfying. It's really nice. Really, really lovely. So that's around the heart of the thing, and then the shoulders are the big muscular bit, so they're going to be able to have lots of individual, like this bit of wood here is the tricep and the intercostal muscles that go from the rib cage to the shoulder. The front legs are kind of far apart because they've got this big muscle structure, the back legs tend to be together. So the idea of a bull in a china shop being wrecking it, actually bulls are very delicate. They're little tiny ankles bulls have got, these little tiny delicate feet, and the back legs are often close together, supporting this big bum. So that's nice and big and round, but that's muscular. There's no muscles on this, it's just, well, it is muscles, but it's a belly. And when people see this, I want them to see the belly first. So I don't want it to look pregnant. With sculpture, you have to be careful what you're showing. So what I'm making outside is duplications of this side. So this has taken ages. So far this has taken 2 months to get to this point. But that's partly because I'm making both sides. So the bending and the cutting is the longest job here.
They're going to be identical?
Two sides are identical, almost. The back legs will be slightly... He's going to be proud. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. I was going to have him angry because he's been skinned, and we've skinned his whole species ever since the beginning. We've killed them, we've eaten them. Terrible. Like my concept drawing, he's really angry. But I thought about it and I thought, well, this is going to live in Canterbury. People are going to see this every day. They have their lunch in the park every day. They go there and exercise every day. And visitors will, go there. It's going to be a beautiful wildflower meadow. It's a terrible thing that happened, but why bang people over the head with it all the time? You know, why slap them in the face? And also, he doesn't know about all that stuff, the death. He doesn't know that he's had a species, he just knows about himself. And a bull is a powerful tribal animal, you know, he has a harem. And so I've written a story for this bull where he's been born, he's grown up, he's had a family, he's had a harem, he's been the bull. But he's a proud, happy bull, and I'm not going to have him angry, because that all happened after his death. When they skinned bulls, they used to leave bits of skin, because they pulled it off, and they couldn't get it off around the horn and the nose and the mouth and the eyes, so they'd leave pieces of skin around the head. So they're really tatty. They're still the same in slaughterhouses now. So I took that idea and then went a bit further, and so I'm having the whole of his head is going to have skin intact, which means that he can have because all this is muscle, there's no expression in it. So the face can be all his expression. So that's where people will connect with the face when they look at it. So I'm not going to have him angry, he's going to be happy, he's going to be proud. He's going to be a bull standing in a field in a wildflower meadow, fantastic. It's full of people interfering with his life, so there'll be a bit of aggression there, but he's proud to be who he is. Okay, so the basic idea, the concept of this, made out of rail track. The head was always going to be made out of plate steel, and the idea was that it's going to follow it's going to be like the old cornflakes packets, animals that you used to cut out and fold, made out of cardboard. That was how it was going to be. But the actual design, when it was done on paper, was completely different to this. It was more sleek, more like the contours of a car. But when I actually started producing the head as a real template made out of corrugated cardboard, it developed this particular character with all the different plates suspended, the different parts of the head suspended as plates. They're all connected to the structure inside by sort of bars behind them. So that works really well. It's much better than the original design. But there's still got this difference between the body and head, which is sort of, because this has got skin on it and this hasn't. This was an old diesel tank that had been buried for years, so it's covered in all sorts of organic matter, including rust and soil and stuff, and I've left as much of that on it as I can, so it's got lots of texture, and as it rusts there'll be lots of colours in it, blues and oranges and things. When in the drawing there were no eyeballs, there was just an eye socket. It works really well on the drawing because it's kind of angry and evil and like a bull, but I didn't want that whole history to come into this. I wanted this bull to be happy and content and now, not thinking about death and what we've done. I wanted him to be alive in this moment, standing in a wildflower meadow. And so adding the eyeballs sort of took away that hollow skeletal look. And it's given him a gaze. It's because they look out sideways, it's giving him a gaze rather than looking. And with gazing he's thinking, with his ears back he's listening. So he's thinking, so he's contemplating. So you can read into all sorts, you can read into it whatever you want. I've got a bending machine which is a set of rollers, 3 rollers that you can turn a flat into a slight curve. So that bit would have gone through maybe 3 times, 4 times. So I cut the shapes to start with, basic shapes, then put them through the roller and then finish them off. So these are made out of bits of tube, so there's a bit of tube that goes from about there to there, which is being whittled down and cut a slot into it, joined it, then there's a separate bit of tube there, and then there's a little solid cast iron ball in there. And all these plates are fixed together with internal brackets, so they're all suspended. So apart from the ears and the horns, you can't see any of the joins, they're all behind. So that's the back leg. That bit goes there. That one goes there. Like that. It's going to be bent round a bit more. And these will go here. So that's the thigh or the calf that comes down to it. So I don't know whether to fill in the back of the hoof. I kind of like it. It's also, when there's ground under it, it'll be so dark in there that you won't be able to see down through it. At the moment I see through it all the time. But when it's in its environment, in a field, although you will be able to look through it, you won't. The eye will be arrested by the image, especially when the head is on, because that's... So I don't know, I'm just at this point now, I'm doing the legs now, back legs, and I'm just trying to work out whether to just let it go and leave it as it is. They're a bit kind of random, they're not the same, they're not symmetrical. That's fine. That's fine.